Martin Popoff here, back again for another edition of Who Invented Heavy Metal. This is kind of an offshoot inspired by my book called Who Invented Heavy Metal, which was 120,000 words that ends in 1971. I don't know where we're going to end this thing, but we are in 1970 at the moment. We've got lots and lots of episodes before this, and we've come to the conclusion that Black Sabbath, this is consensus. This is not a big surprise. Everybody kind of believes this. Is the first proper heavy metal album. February 1970. We've talked about the Stooges Funhouse. We've talked about Deep Purple in Rock and Uriah Heep, Very Heavy, Very Humble, all in the summer of 1977. Two of those in June, one of them in July. And now we are up to September 18th, 1970. And we get a album called Paranoid. So there you go. Black Sabbath, Paranoid. This is the band's second album, and it is by the way, my two Black Sabbath books are still available, telling the whole story of the band up into actually 13 isn't in here, but yeah, so those are available, martinpopoff.com. So what we have here is an album that is much heavier than the first Black Sabbath. The first Black Sabbath could be a little meandering, a little bluesy here and there. And, there's some jamming going on. But that's, for the most part, taken away on this record. And what we have is a much more insistent, modern, creative heavy metal album than the first Black Sabbath album. Now, it's a debate whether it is a particular improvement in the evolution of heavy metal over Deep Purple in Rock. It certainly is over Uriah Heep's debut. But yeah, that's a debate we can have. I think when you combine the scariness and the themes of this album with the music that's on it, it does probably trump In Rock for enveloping the whole, idea of heavy metal in terms of beyond the music into the emotional, into the abstract, into the entire package kind of thing. So yeah, there's your album cover. There's your back cover. We know famously this was going to be called War Pigs, and the US label didn't like that. There's a picture of the band looking pretty darn heavy, I would say. So what we get on this record, just to go through it and drive home the point that we are in an absolute inventing heavy metal stage here. We've got War Pigs, kicks off, crazy heavy song, a lot of parts to it that we kind of forget are there because the verse is so insane with the whole, stopping with the, that whole thing, Ozzy singing in those spaces like that. So that is a really incredible song. Starts off slow and doomy before you get to that part. So right off the bat, I think you've got a song that is more creative and doing more things with the tooling of heavy metal than you get on the debut album. And I would say also that production-wise, the guitars are more upfront on this album. It is a fairly mid-rangey album. It's dynamic enough. It's pretty darn well recorded for 1970. We've got Roger Bain there, the elusive Roger Bain for Tony Hall Enterprises recording here. We always see Roger, and then I'm writing all these books all the time, and I always have to stop. Okay, this year, do I go with Roger with a D in it or Roger without a D in it, right? Because it's a little inconsistent. But next, we've got the title track, Paranoid, which we always talk about as an advancement over Led Zeppelin Communication Breakdown, with that whole idea of the machine gun riff, proto thrash in some way. It's fairly up tempo, but it's simple. But it kind of drives home the point of this, just thudding away on a almost palm muted sort of riff. So that's a heavy song. Planet Caravan is completely a quiet, psychedelic, strange, creepy, nightmarish sort of song. It's the type of song that a heavy metal band would put on their album for a non-heavy song. So that's kind of important right there as well. And then we've got Iron Man, a completely heavy metal riff, a heavy metal subject matter, with it being about a monster / robot, alien being, whatever. So that's cool as well. But we've got, a riff that is pretty much the most famous heavy metal riff until the Smoke on the Water riff. This song gets compared to that a lot as well. We've got Ozzy singing along with the riff. So that thing I talk about of heavy metal being a bunch of guys in 1970s New York standing around an oil drum with a fire in it to keep warm, warming their hands over that fire. One of my definitions of heavy metal is that sort of scenario where everything is clumping around the guitar riff. The guitar riff is central to the song, and this is a song that really drives home that point, how important that riff is. And Ozzy famously going along with the riff with the vocal. Side 2, Electric Funeral, another crazy, doomy, slow, dark, Diablos in Musica, tritone, devil's note, kind of heavy song there as well. A little bit psychedelic in the guitar effect department. Hand of Doom, same kind of thing. Here we see heavy metal dynamics, right? So you've got the singing along to kind of like a little cocktail jazzy part, and then it explodes into these big massive riffs, and Bill Ward is going crazy on the drums. Very dramatic drumming on this album as well. Energetic, tasteful, cool, jazzy drumming from Bill Ward. Rat Salad, we've got something that is a little closer to the debut album in that it's a jammy instrumental, a vehicle for a drum solo. So it's sort of like Moby Dick in that way, right? Kind of a little what would you call it, Uriah Heepy almost in the way they're doing this, and but very much like those meandering instrumental moments on the debut. Fairies Wear Boots is a little less impressive. I think this is a song that is a little too jazzy and psyche, certainly with the the long intro section. I don't think the riff is particularly impressive until it heavies up, the heavying up of it later on, and with the Aussie vocal and stuff. It gets pretty powerful, right? Pretty cool song, but still squarely a heavy metal song. So the idea here is that you've got all of side 2 is essentially heavy metal, and all of side 1 is very heavy metal, probably the 3 heaviest songs on the album, and then except for Planet Caravan, so it has the one slightly lighter moment on it. So yeah, way heavier album than the debut album. And right here, before we even get out of 1970, arguably speaking, we have the heaviest metal album to date in Black Sabbath, Paranoid. So there you go. That has been another Who Invented Heavy Metal. Like and subscribe, please, if you can, if you haven't subscribed already. If you join our Patreon situation, that gets you onto our panels as well. I've got an audio podcast, strictly audio, called History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff. We're up to 306 episodes of that or so. And I also do one with John Gaffney, Kicked in the Teeth and AC/DC podcast there as well. And martinpopoff.com for all your book needs. I've got about 100 books in print that you can look up there, and there's PayPal buttons and all that. I sign them, send them out from my office here in Toronto. But yeah, let us know. What do you think? Is this maybe the heaviest album to date for all of 1970? Let's go right to the end of 1970. Let us know in the comments. Is this the heaviest album before we move into the following year, 1971? What do you think? Who Invented Heavy Metal? Black Sabbath, Paranoid, certainly one of the big candidates.